So today I'm going to review the Amiibo, which is a figure line released by Nintendo. And Amiibo doesn't mean anything in Japanese, it's just a marketing word that Nintendo used, which is clever because just like Lego is Lego, Amiibo is Amiibo, because the way they market these is that they're not just figures, they also sync to your Nintendo 3DS or Wii U, and you can like upgrade character levels and all that sort of stuff. So here's just a bit of a glimpse at some of the figures that have been released, or Amiibo that have been released. There have been a few others that have subsequently been released. I put a link in the description section to the actual lineup on the Amiibo website so you can see all the ones that have been released and will be released. And today we're going to look at 6 of them, but they're all pretty much the same. Now, one interesting thing about these figures is that you could actually buy them, and a lot of the figures that we sell are Banpresto figures which you can't buy in Japan. So if I actually show you, so this is a Banpresto figure, so it'll say for use as prize in Japan only, because Banpresto only make their figures or release them initially as Ichiban Kuji or Crane Games. And I first thought that was really silly. It's like really annoying that you can't buy them. But after seeing these Amiibo, I understand why. Because people were buying some of these figures and literally manipulating the market. And it does happen. And you may have experienced the same thing in your country, because these figures were released overseas as well. So, for example, like, this character here, or the Wii Fit trainer, or especially Little Mac, I wouldn't think those characters are particularly popular, but they were really rare. And these retailed for about $14 in Japan. Even when they were released, even when you supposedly could get them in shops, they were selling online for like $70 or $80. It was ridiculous, because I guess Nintendo thought, okay, everyone wants Mario, right? So there were lots of Marios. Mario was easy to get. But some of the less popular characters were really, really hard to get. And for people, it seemed like a lot of people were actually collecting the sets. So people did actually want, some of these characters. So they were really, that was an interesting thing for me to see. So these are the 6 figures that we're going to look at today. Now, I remember playing Super Smash Brothers on the Nintendo 64. And if you remember that game, you could collect, this is on the video game, you could collect like little trophies, and I think it was like 200 or 300 of them. And I remember thinking at the time, wouldn't it be cool if they actually made these into figures? And that is exactly what they've done. So it took them 10 years, but here they are. And as I said before, they do have electronics in the base. So in the base they do actually have some electronics which you can use to sync to your Wii U or your 3DS. Actually, it might just be Wii U, I'm not sure. And you can level up characters. Now these ones are the Japanese version. You can see like it's all sort of Japanese writing. I don't know if they would work on non-Japanese video game systems. I think it's safe to assume that they don't. Like, it's better to assume that they don't, and then if they do, well, great. But as I said, you can buy these. They were released outside of Japan as well. Now, you never really buy a figure for the box, right? But I'd give the box 10 out of 10 because it's just really well thought out design. Nice, big, clear container. So, you can clearly display the figure. It also has a couple of bits on the bottom to make sure that it actually stands up straight. And obviously the backing, nice big color picture of the character, which actually makes it better not to open, because then you've got like the character in the background. So really well thought out in my opinion. So if we now look at the figures that I've got here, so this is Meta Knight. I love Meta Knight, he's pretty cool. So this is from the Kirby series, if you're not familiar with it. And then this is Kirby. Kirby has an interesting story actually, because when they make video games, they make like a sort of proxy character. So they just kind of like in Kirby's case, they made Kirby as just like a interim character for the game, and then after they were going to make like a proper character, and the designers kind of ended up liking Kirby, and so it ended up becoming like a proper character. And when it was released in America, they weren't sure, because there was, even in Japan, they were thinking what color they wanted, and Miyamoto Shigeru, who also created the Donkey Kong and Mario franchise, wanted yellow, but others wanted pink. And the American, when it was released in America, they weren't sure which color he was meant to be, so for the game artwork, they just made him white. So if you look back at the older games, you'll notice that. So these are the Zelda ones. So that was King Dedede that I just showed you as well, which is also from the Kirby franchise. I'm sorry, it's not really getting into focus, is it? So there's Link, so you can see a lot of detail. His sword's a little bit bent, which is annoying. I think they're all like that. I don't really like the yellow stand. I think they should have made that clear. So this is Sheik. Now, I'm going to try and get this into focus. Yeah, so you can see on her right leg, even the cross-hatching pattern. So then you got the lens of truth. So just so much detail. So something like Kirby, very simple. But, some of the others are very good. So this is Princess Zelda. So again, pattern on her dress. Got the Triforce. So very, very nice figures. Now the size is, that's an iPhone 5 case. So relatively small, but I don't think many people would just buy one of these. They'll probably buy lots of them, or at least 3 of them, so you can display them one on top of the other. So that's the Nintendo Amiibo. Thanks for watching.